Everyone's welcome along to this talk as part of Bias in Science Week, Bias Inequality in Women's Health and Research, developed by the RCSI, a Department of Obstetrics, I can never say that word, and Gynecology in collaboration with the Rotunda Hospital. And it's all for Science Week. I'm delighted to be part of it again. Delighted to be speaking to you, Patricia Maguire. Your title is long, so you need to do it.
Fair enough, and so nice to meet you, Alison, and so nice to be part of this. So my name is Patricia Maguire, and I am a professor of biochemistry at UCD, and I am also the director of the UCD Institute for Discovery.
So when we were speaking before we started the conversation, you were saying your path is unusual in that you carved out your career yourself, really. It is all part of STEM, it's all part of Science Week, but you've created something quite unique.
I suppose I'm very lucky. I've always been interested in connecting unusual things. My mum even remembers me when I was very young. I had a bench in the back garden and I used to hammer nails all the time. That's where you would find me. So I used to try and fix broken radios. So it's always been interested in understanding things, connecting things. And I did a science degree, but I did a joint honors science degree. So even then I started connecting things. So I did pharmacology and genetics. And then I went on to do a PhD in pharmacology, but then I started getting interested in lots of different research angles and connecting things. And I specialize and I look at blood, and I look at one particular cell called platelets, and I'm really interested in them, and we can talk for them all day.
So you specialized in blood. The thing is as well, Patricia, is that I think when people think of STEM and possible careers, we have no concept of the vast offerings for that and how there's so many specific areas.
There's so many different areas, and really, Alison, you can carve your own area, and I think that's what I've done by saying yes to everything and working hard, but also saying yes. In 2007, I started as a lecturer in biochemistry in UCD, and when I got and then so in my job, I would teach at an undergraduate level and a postgraduate level in UCD, but I also do research. And maybe people don't understand, even the students that are studying in university, that their lecturers and teachers would actually have a whole research career on the side as well. And that's what I look at. I do research in blood, specifically on platelets, who every single person has heard about, but as they clot our blood, but they do so much more. And that's what fascinates me on a daily basis.
So you're looking at specifically women's health and looking to research inflammatory diseases like preeclampsia, which is something that does affect so many pregnancies, and other areas. And are we leading the way in Ireland in this research?
Yes, so we're very lucky. A number of years ago, I was very lucky to start a project called AI Preemie that's built, I suppose, on over 20 years of research from my lab, but also probably about 200 years of research from across a number of different people across Ireland. And so the team has come together, and what we're trying to do is create a new diagnostic tool to diagnose preeclampsia, but also what we want to do is be able to predict the future for a woman who has been diagnosed with preeclampsia and help that clinician understand what that woman's future looks like. And because really the main question, Alison, is when is the best time to deliver the baby? And it's really a decision that needs to be made at the right time. And if we can help give information to that frontline care provider, be it the midwife or the clinician that's looking after that woman, there's a whole team of people usually looking after that woman. So if we can help them make a better decision on when to deliver that baby, then it becomes, and that's what we're trying to do. And right now we have a team across the 3 Dublin maternity hospitals So the Rotunda Hospital, the National Maternity Hospital in Hall Street, and also the Coombe Hospital.
Great.
And so we have a team of clinicians and midwives and lab staff working across the hospitals in collaboration with academics right across the UCD. So we have basic scientists, we have clinician scientists, we have statisticians, we have computer scientists, and we also have health economists.
Wow.
And then we also work in collaboration with two global industries. So we work with a data analytics company called SAS Institute, which is based in North Carolina in the US. And we also work in collaboration with Microsoft.
Right.
Ireland.
I just could, being selfish and bringing it back to me, but I just would love to think of a future where that's not a life-threatening condition for women who want to have children. And tell us about.
That's our dream. The dream of the whole team is, so we have this new, we are developing a new test. The dream of the whole team is to get this to every person who needs it across the world. That's what we're trying to do, because you may not realize this, but 50,000 women and 500,000 babies die because of preeclampsia every year. It actually affects 1 in 12 pregnancies.
It's crazy.
Something that you do not hear about. And not only do, unfortunately, women and babies die, but actually another 5 million babies are born prematurely every year because of preeclampsia. And so, it's a real tough decision for the care provider on when to deliver that baby, because if they can leave that baby in for one more day, one more week, they can absolutely, at 25, 26, 27 weeks of pregnancy, that extra couple of days, week in utero for that baby can make a massive difference. And as a basic scientist, to be able to be involved and lead out on this project and maybe be able to put something into every hospital, maternity hospital worldwide, is just incredible. And it's something that gets me up out of bed every day.
Well, I believe fully you will get there. And I think that's the other thing, though, Patricia, as well, is that people don't necessarily have a concept of the amount of years, the amount of people, the amount of funding that all needs to go in to get one thing ready to be of service to women in health.
Yeah, I think, the team that we've built, there's 35 people involved in this across all the different institutions and companies. And, together there's over 300 years of knowledge.
Yeah.
And, we have created something very unique, and we are so driven by our mission, which is what I've said, to get this to every person who needs it. And
Patricia, can I
focused on that?
Can I ask you as well? So what would you say for anybody catching this talk as part of Science Week are, skills and attributes that people should have in order to be successful or go on and build a career in STEM?
Yeah, I think it's problem solving is a huge one, because every day there's a different issue that needs to be solved. And I think, one thing is working in a team. You may have this vision of scientists, working alone in a lab every day, but actually, one thing is teamwork, and working with people and being able to problem solve together, and have that curiosity to wonder, is there a different way that I can do this? Is there a better way that I can do this? And, working together as a team is that. So I think really, if you have good, people skills, being able to bring that together, and also problem solving, and just an innate curiosity. And science, is free.
I love reading about it and speaking to people like you. I just didn't think I would have it in me, but that's something that leads me on to my next question, which is, the visibility of female scientists, women working in STEM, working in health specifically for the betterment of all women's care. I think that my daughter, who's 11, is, she could see you, she can see this beautiful young woman, and she's carved out this career. So I think that visibility in women in STEM is really important.
I couldn't agree more. I have three daughters, and I couldn't agree more. They're three teenagers, and I'd love for them to follow. I think it's following your passion, though, you know. And I was very lucky, Alison, to have an incredible teacher who taught me science in school, and she taught me the art of the possible. I think I was very lucky that she exposed me to the Young Scientist competition, in fact, actually, when I was 14, 15. And that showed me the art of the possible, and it made me hungry for more. So I was very lucky to have that, because I'm first generation university. I am, nobody in my family or had ever considered science. But I just, because I had that teacher, I was enabled to study science. And then when I got to university, I realized I just loved it so much.
Yes.
And I was very lucky. And there's been bumps along the way. It's not been it's not been I went to industry for some time and thought that was the career for me, and realized actually no, my passion lies in research, in academic research, and it's just wonderful. And I'm just very lucky to look back and some of the decisions that I made, and also some of the decisions that were influenced by the people I'd met. And one of the words I love to use is serendipity, almost, and serendipity in the people I've met along the way. And that's one thing, as a scientist, you get to travel the world and meet so many people. It's absolutely wonderful. And I really do want young girls to understand that it's the art of the possible. If you study something like science, you can turn it into anything.
Yeah, that's great advice. I do want to be a little bit realistic in the sense that are there barriers that I'm assuming you've come across in your career, and then I want to get advice. So the honesty, and then I want to get good advice.
Look, I have, as I said, three girls. They're now three teenagers, and look, juggling career and juggling a family is a difficult one. And I see people really struggling when their kids are young, and it's not easy, right? So it isn't easy, but it's a difficult struggle. But it's networks and support networks, and support networks, not just family support networks, but support networks in terms of your colleagues at work, and again, as I said, it's the people I've met along the way that pull you back up when things are tough, and that's just been incredible. And I was very lucky, actually, a couple of years ago to start up a group called the Women in the Sciences in UCD. And we actually advocated to bring in something called the Athena Swan Charter into Ireland. And that's a framework that is used across the globe.
Wow.
And it's transformed gender equality in higher education and in research. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, Alison, but there's a really classic metaphor in academia that there's this leaky pipeline and there's this scissors plot, and as for gender distribution, as in higher career stages, as you go up to kind of professor, full professor in STEM, that there's a real leaky pipeline, and there's this scissors plot that actually basically the numbers of women basically fall off completely.
Wow.
And so Athena Swan is one framework, is one charter that's kind of helping the situation. But there's always so much more work to be done, and that's something that I am incredibly passionate about as well.
But that's the thing, Patricia, is that, it will take, and I don't want to do a generalization, but I think it will take leaders in, that level that we're talking about in research and in the medical profession to be women, to drive the agenda for women, which hasn't been well represented in many areas for a long time. I want to get advice, though, before I let you go. Advice for anyone catching this talk as part of Science Week. Yeah.
Well, I think follow your dreams. Follow your dreams and work really hard to achieve them. We get knocked back all the time, so it's really important to be resilient. And, if you have a dream, I think it's really important to just follow that and follow your gut, because you can achieve anything that you set out to do.
Oh, Patricia Maguire, that's gorgeous. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.